Out with me today, I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. Have you checked out AfroEconomics.com? Like a real commercial, right? But have you checked out my website? On AfroEconomics.com, there's membership that's available to you, and also information on the live workshops that I have regularly. So I love doing the live workshops because in addition to the reference to the book, I have a workbook as well. And there's a bookstore on the website as well. And the workshops allow me to really bring home some of the things that we talk about each week. There's also a members only page that is being established to make sure that the members have certain serious advantages, and it gives me an opportunity to really focus on portfolio development. So if investing and taking it to the next level is important to you, definitely become a member of AfroEconomics and start participating in the members only conference calls, and you'll soon have just a members only page, because now I have to directly email to the members, and soon we'll just be able to communicate directly through the page, and it'll make my life a lot easier. And you'll be able to continue to communicate with me directly at jb@jbbryan.com or jb@afroeconomics.com. And AfroEconomics is a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and all over the place. So let's talk. Today, we're getting ready. We're getting ready so that what things should we do every day to prepare for our financial dreams? I know that I have a lot of financial dreams ahead of me, a lot of things that I want to do. And I know that what I do each day creates it or pulls me away from meeting that particular financial goal. And I want you to make sure that you realize that too, that what you do really impacts your future, that you're important, you're everything. And so let's just talk about 10 things that I wrote down, and that and also it goes along with, there's 10 principles of Afroeconomics. So I really want you to check out the book so you can really get what's in my headspace, like what I really think about all the time. But one is to create a budget. Create a budget, like and create your budget to celebrate how you want to spend your money. Like, because we're very hesitant to create a budget, to do anything that will actually make you look at what you're doing with your money. And I use my bank app, but the bank app is really only telling you what you did, but you want your budget to tell you what you should do, how much you should spend in that area. And keep it simple, like, do a little daily budget of how much you want to spend. Look at how much you make each month or how much you make each week, then break it down to how much you make each day and how you want to spend that money that you're making each day. And that really helps. You're like, one of the tips I have here is to value your time as much as your money. Because if you start breaking it down, especially if you're on a salary or you own your own business like I do, and we start really looking at the value of our time based on what our financial goals are, how much we need to generate, then we'll say, like, wow, everything has to be productive. I have to use my time wisely. And that is to say that your family time is a wise use of your time, like sitting there with your family and watching something that's not helping your family. Now, that what you do with that family time, that's where it becomes important, because sometimes we'd be better off, instead of watching things that dumb us down, actually going outside and just sitting outside and talking to each other. And that's become a lost art form, right? Of just, loving on each other and talking. So create a budget. A second tip is to pay yourself first. And paying yourself first, look at that as, that is what you're saving, what you're putting away. If you have a systematic plan available, if you don't, talk to me about how to set up something that's automatically drafting out of the money that you're making each hour, that you're actually putting some of that away for yourself. And look at that as something that's much greater than just buying a dress for yourself. And sometimes we think, well, the way to reward myself is to buy this material item. But actually, a way to reward yourself would be to do things that secure you financially so that you're always able to take care of yourself. What better gift to yourself? So don't see saving for yourself as self-deprivation. That is a self-celebration, huh? So then a third tip, pay your credit cards off. Pay the credit cards off. The interest rates are higher. They're not simple interest. The interest is growing and growing as long as you have that balance on there. So you want to make sure that you make a point to pay the credit cards down and off, not allow that balance to sit there from holiday to holiday, and whatever's available, spend it on the next holiday, and whatever's available, spend on the next holiday. Use your credit cards, but make a point not to leave that balance on there, to pay them off each month. If you have a balance on them, that means that you're living beyond your means. We're not supposed to have a balance on our credit cards. It's just supposed to be a short-term use of that money. So then number 4, make extra mortgage payments. Yes, if you have a mortgage, I want to remind you to make extra mortgage payments if the goal is to have that house paid off at a particular point in your life, or you want to have it paid off for your retirement, or you want to have it paid off. You don't have to refinance and pay all the expenses associated with refinancing in order to pay your loan off earlier. Don't fall victim to that. That you can decide when and how your loan is paid off. And an easy way to do that without having to pay anybody is to just send in extra principal payments. You write principal payment on the check, send it in, call the mortgage company. They can do an amortization schedule for you, and they'll show you, what part of each payment for all the coming years, what is principal, what is interest, so that you can, send in your extra payments as you wish. And you do not have to set up one of those programs that charges you fees for paying it every 2 weeks and things like that. Just do it for yourself. You deserve it. So consider paying extra mortgage payments. A 5th tip is, and this is interesting, it made me think about this because I was thinking about it the other day, about there really is, in most of the questions that I'm asked, there is typically not a yes and no. Some easy yes answers are to say that you should save and pay yourself first. Yeah, that's an easy yes, but then in a way it's not, because if a person said, well, should I put this over here for myself, but I have a 25% retail store credit card? Well, in that case, I would probably say, well, you need to get rid of that credit card over there, right now, because that's really pulling away from your financial goals. So even in that case, it depends. So there are many things with financial questions. It really depends on your specific situation. So it comes to number 5 is buy versus lease versus rent. I'm thinking about, you really need to not fall victim of everybody should do this. Like some people believe that everybody should lease their cars and not buy their cars. It depends. Is there a special promotion? Is it going to cost you less to lease? Is it easy for you from a tax perspective, things like that? Then maybe. If it's, and then for some situations there might be, if you buy, there's 0 interest for a purchase. It really depends on buying versus leasing and versus renting some things. Like my father told me one time, I was about to buy a truck, and he said, just rent the truck. You don't need a truck all the time. And I said, you know what? Hey, you got to listen to them. I tell you, they don't have to be investment advisors. These people that have been successful before us, we need to listen to what they say. And I mean, it was crazy. It was like, I just thought, like, wow, I just really need a truck sometime. I just got to buy a truck. He was like, why? Your truck will be sitting there. So in that situation, there's so many companies now that will allow you to just rent a truck. We can look out and our driveways and see, you know, that so many of us from an Afro-economic perspective have a vehicle and expense for everything you could possibly ever need. And that when it comes to taxes and insurance and all those, they're really costing you for something that might be spending a lot of time just sitting there. So we got to think these things through. So everything, buy versus lease versus rent, hey, even down to home ownership. It's not really appropriate for everybody to buy a home. There's a lot of single people who are spending so much on their home and they're by themselves that they're not saving enough for their future when they may still be by themselves. So they could be putting more money away if they were lowering their lodging, their housing, their home expense. And so it really depends that if what is going to be the most cost-effective way for you to plan your future. You can't say, well, everybody needs to buy a home because you've got to, you know, you can't just say that, you know, that you can't, or a person's going to know, they realize that they're going to be moving a lot and they're going to, you know, buy a home later on or things. So you can't really say because you did it or because grandma did it, that's the way it's supposed to be for you. No, you have to get to know your financial goals, your tax situation, everything. That's what it depends on. So in many there, it's very difficult to say that this is what you always have to do, you know, because no, there's a lot of people who will never invest in the stock market, only will do the real estate market, not realizing that there's people that have lost a lot of money, lost everything in real estate, and then people who have lost everything in stock investments. So it really depends on which of these investments in that category you actually selected. So we can't, there's not so just be careful in thinking that things that someone else did, that's got to apply to you. So specifically for number 5, I have to buy versus lease versus rent. It depends. You have to think it through specifically for you. Number 6 is mind over matter. Mind over matter. So that we have to set a state of mind very early in life that I have to become a saver, that your financial independence is a priority, that I don't have to, that if I spend money on this, then I'm not going to be able to do this because this is going to take away from this. And if I want to have this, most importantly, what type of effort do you have to put out in order to maintain and keep that particular purchase that you want to make or asset that you're acquiring? Because too often, even with school loans, I've had clients who their grandchildren going to college because the parents can't get approved for the loan because the parents' credit is messed up. So the parent asks their parent to sign on a loan, and when the child graduates, they still won't pay. I've had grandparents who almost lost everything, not being able to take care of their expenses because they have to cover a school loan for 2 generations below them. That is, you know, really sad. So we really have to develop very early in life. So number 6 is to start saving early in life, develop a money mindset early in life. And young people learn mostly by the example that we set. Teach them how to properly manage their money by you showing them you properly managing your money. So, and then number 7, I want you to get clear financial goals. Get clear financial goals. I want to do this, then I want to do that, and I want to do this. I want to, you know, pay off all my debts. I want to retire at age 65. I want to, you know, whatever your specific goals are, then I want to, even a big part of, I believe, financial goals should be involved you be making sure that you're healthy, because not being healthy is very expensive. It pulls away from our financial goals when you're not able to go to work. So we have to make sure that we stay on board that your health is your wealth, and make sure that you keep yourself healthy as a major financial goal. Invest whatever you have to do. Invest in good food and good equipment or good gym or a good neighborhood so that you can walk around and feel free and comfortable to walk around. And living in trying to save money and living in a neighborhood where you don't feel comfortable walking around, or you don't feel comfortable walking to the bus so that you can save money on a car, that you've got to realize that if you cut back, if you're cutting back in the wrong areas, and what is the wrong areas, but make sure that you set up your financial goals accordingly. And it really makes a difference. It really makes, so get clear financial goals for you and your family. Number 8 is to value your time as much as your money. And we talked about that a little earlier, but we really have to, realize how valuable our time is. And sometimes you don't have money to give, but you have time. So you have to make sure that the time that you spend is productive, that it's going to really make a difference, that it is a healthy usage of your time, and that and then just say that you're having financial challenges every day. 6 o'clock you get home from your job, and you sit there and watch TV from 6 to 11 o'clock. Do you know that how much money you could have made from 6 to 11 o'clock if you work like single and you don't have any children, and you could be going to another job and paying off those debts and getting yourself together? Use your time wisely. I've often said, and we need to be conscious of that, there are changes in your lifestyle that happen after you have a child. And there are so many people who are not the custodial parent, who don't realize the value of the time of the parent that is taking care of the child. Ever since I became a single parent, I totally had to readjust my work life, my work style. And the older that she's become, the more I've been able to get back to a style and the work habits that I really enjoy. But we do sacrifice income in order to build and make an investment in our children. And the parent that doesn't have that responsibility should be very thankful that they have the opportunity to go out there and pay their bills. They have the opportunity to go and get that other job. So when the non-custodial parent doesn't pay child support, it is extremely disappointing to the entire family, because it affects everyone. I thank God so much that I was the breadwinner for my family before. So, it was just another day as far as work, but as far as, generating income for the household. But for most women and for most men that have become single parents, and that is really happening a lot, we need to realize, the non-custodial parents need to realize the value of time. That time, it costs, not being able to work costs a lot of money. Value your time as much as money. And that's really never discussed, that how important it is for non-custodial parents to really do their part in making sure that the children continue to have the financial resources that they need, because the other parent is not able, and you don't want the other parent to always be at work, that your child is not having access to at least one parent all the time. So number 9. So number 8 was value time as much as money. Number 9 is have friends that have your same values. Have friends that have your same values. Like that have friends that appreciate the fact that you say, well, nah, I'm not gonna go out Friday and Saturday. That I might just do something on, Saturday afternoon, go to the park or something like that. But I can't go out Friday night, because every time when I go out Friday night, I spend. So you want to have a friend that you don't really even have to explain all that to. You want to have friends that realize that, Friday night, can be time to exercise, time to relax, time to, prepare for doing some extra work on Saturday, doing some research, spending some family time, whatever. But they have friends. If you're a productive person who wants to be financially independent, Bottom line, make sure that you have friends that also are productive and want to be financially independent. You got friends that don't understand that you can't be borrowing money from you all the time, because you want to save your money, you want to invest your money, you want to do right with your money, you want to take care of your family, your responsibilities, and they're always in your pocket. That's a problem. So you want to have friends that have the same values that you have. And then finally, number 10 is to get professional help. Talk with a financial advisor. Talk to your friends that you see as financially successful. Maybe they'll help you. Maybe they have worked with an advisor and they know. Make sure you email me. Join AfroEconomics. Make money something that's important to you. Make money a priority for you. Make an effort to make sure that you have a financial advisor that if you have a challenge that you can just call. Like my clients, anything that they have a question about financially, tax perspective, even estate planning issues, they might want a referral on a lawyer, they might want to insight on reviewing their tax return. I got tax returns right in front of me at this table that I'm reviewing for clients. That we want to make sure that you have someone that is on your team that is a financial advisor. I don't feel comfortable saying expert about someone that is a good financial advisor that is on your team, and that you have access to them, and they're willing and happy and willing to help you. That's the key. Don't work with some. We need to raise our standards. And that if you're a caring person, make sure that everybody on your team is a caring person too, that they appreciate your time, know your values, are on your team, want you to be successful, love it to see you prosper. So those are some things. So we want to create a budget, pay yourself first, pay off your credit cards, make extra mortgage payments if you have one, buy versus lease versus rent. All comes down to your specific financial goals. Mind over matter. Start saving as early as possible. Develop that money mindset. And make sure that you get AfroEconomics in there. That'll help you. Have this in your family library. AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters. It helps you develop that money mindset for your family. Number 7 is get clear financial goals. 8 is value time as much as money. Have friends with your same values and financial values, and get professional financial help if you need it. I'm JB Bryan, and with JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. Check out the AfroEconomics app. It's free. And it will allow you can be watching me right now through your cell phone, and it sends you reminders, and the bookstore links in. It's just, please check out the app. Download it. It's just free. Let me take up a little bit of your smartphone space, but it'll remind you to stay on track with your money. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me, and I'll see you next week for our Lunch and Learn. And I hope that these 10 financial tips will really get you ready for financial success. God bless you. Take care.